I'm back.
We're all back.
It's 7 years now. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
Slow down.
I'm kidding. Hi guys.
This is year 3.
This is year 27. We're bringing back the captain's log. No, I'm kidding. We're done with that arc.
Can you
Anyways,
start?
yeah, just cue the intro. Hello guys, it's T.L.B.P Brothers podcast, also known as T.L.B.P. I'm Victor.
And I'm Adrian.
And we're back at it again with another not vlog, because I felt like it.
I mean, whatever. Okay, so
I'm not going to lie to you, I'm really tired right now.
yeah, you were saying that right before I hit the record button. Like legitimately hit the record button.
Yeah, I know. I was like...
And I don't know if you know
that I'm passing out. I'm literally falling off the chair right now.
Okay, well, you're not on a chair for starters.
I'm on a Sia, yes.
We're on the floor. He's lying
Actually, they won't know if he's lying.
He's lying on his back right now, holding a mic up to his face.
Like, I'm not holding anything up to my face.
They don't know, bro. They don't see what I see.
Everyone's gonna think it's COVID. Oh no, I feel it in my nostrils.
Okay, we shouldn't joke about that.
No, I know.
Okay,
but like,
listen, just listen.
Yeah, I'm trying
to sleep. Like that's what I'm leaving that pause in there.
I'm
so
like gonna
you were
sneeze.
Trying to fall asleep.
I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm Gucci. No.
Okay, well.
Oh wait, no, I'm good.
Even if you do sneeze, I have to cut it out.
No, I'm good. I'm fine.
Because if you sneeze, it's way too loud.
No, it's fine. Let's just break their ears.
Nah, man.
I don't apologize. I mean, I do apologize.
You have to apologize. It's not a choice.
What is this? This is like torture. My eyes are getting teary. Like,
what is wrong?
Oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Technically, by that definition, we
my
all are.
My voice is starting to change.
Someone help him. He's lost it.
I'm dying.
Okay. Well. Okay. So, technically,
I'm like crying here. Like this won't come out.
I don't know what's wrong.
I wish all of you could see this right now. Just my face of like,
he's legit crying.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know how to deal with this. He's actually tearing up over there. If you guys don't know,
cutting onions like 30 minutes ago. I'm kidding.
We're like 2 feet away from each other because of COVID.
And what do you mean? We live in the same household. We can't even,
bro. Because we're a business, we have to respect the rules. You're lucky I don't make you wear a mask and I sit you 2 feet away from me.
We can become a self-proclaimed business if you want.
We technically are,
but we're not getting any money from the government.
That's like
the government. The government. You know, if you do that, the government can give you money.
Yeah, they subsidize.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe one.
But then we also have to put it into taxes, and that's. I don't want that.
I mean, we're gonna have to do that at one point.
Yeah, probably.
We're definitely gonna have to do that. I mean,
I'm still crying.
I need you to grow a pair and get.
It's not about growing.
You already made me name one episode. Grow a little.
Okay, then grow a little less.
You can't reverse grow. That's not how this
the
works.
Biggest contradiction in the whole podcast. Like just grow less.
Grow less.
No, I'm kidding.
Imagine if you could grow less. Like if you could just shut off growing.
I think everybody would just shut it off.
So just be a kid.
Nah, I'd stop it when I'm like 25.
I think I'd stop it at 21.
I would stop.
21 was an epic year for me.
Okay, but you're not stopping the time around you.
No, I know.
You're stopping your
the
body
feeling
growth.
of being 21 was nice because it's like peak everything.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it could be the downfall for some.
I mean, for me, it was. I don't know what
as soon as you're 21, you can start being an abuser.
You can be an abuser at 5. That's not the point.
No, I mean the substance abuser.
Again, you could still be one at 5.
Okay, but like that's just bad parenting. You know, like beat your children.
No,
I'm kidding. I do not support that.
I met a guy.
Somewhat.
Okay, so when I was in studying to be a social worker,
yes,
I met a guy who he found the liquor cabinet when he was 4,
and then he drank
in the basement. He didn't know what it was, but he started drinking, and by the time his parents found him, he was like passed out from alcohol. Drunk. At the age of 4.
Yeah.
And he didn't know at the time. Well, of course, obviously he was 4. He didn't know what it was.
He was still innocent.
Yeah, but in his family, people would get hooked to it like super, super quick.
Yeah.
He happened to carry that gene.
Of course.
At 4. So imagine being an alcoholic at 4.
That's tough.
And then he says that after that, his entire life like changed forever. Because he always struggled with alcoholism moving forward. And then he like casually like, so then, he's like, ask me at the end of his talk. He goes, you guys can ask me anything. Like nothing's off the question.
My first question would have been, do you have a flask under your desk?
No. So this girl goes, so how long have you been sober? And he goes,
I'm not sober right now.
No. He was telling us, well, because he's also a schizophrenic.
Okay.
So he like suffers with a lot of like voices and stuff. So one person goes like, how long, like easy question.
Yeah.
How long you've been sober? And he goes, about 4 years. And we go, that's great. And he goes, yeah. And then the next question, like, no hold back. This guy goes, do you hear the voices right now? Like, just out of nowhere, right? Like, and we're all like, we all turn to look at him like, you idiot. You don't ask that as a second. But he said, don't. And he goes, yeah, I hear them right now.
The follow-up question was, of course, what are they saying?
Right. That's literally what this other guy, this girl actually, she asked that. So what are you hearing? And he goes, it depends on the day, but currently right now, they're telling me to leave and to not trust any of you. And I was like, how do you just ignore that? Like, because
it's constant.
Right. And he was telling us how there's like this trick, because they say that you have a hard time sleeping.
Yeah.
Because the voices never stop.
Yeah.
But he's like, there's this cool psychological trick.
Yeah.
Where you can trick your brain into not hear it anymore.
Yeah.
You want to know what it is?
Earplugs.
Yeah. You put earplugs in your ear.
Yeah.
And it silences the voices.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's crazy. But it only works until you pass out.
Yeah.
But once you wake up, they're back. Like it's like it's like a placebo, like a one night placebo.
Yeah.
And then it never works again until like completely exhausted and it works again.
Yeah.
But it's crazy stuff like that. I
like, it's like, I applaud those who are able to be like a part of society and like work through it.
Oh yeah.
Because like I can barely focus with somebody like just tapping like on their phone.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it.
But like it's crazy. Like he tells like all these crazy stories of like people he's met and things that like specifically happened to him.
I wonder if but like you never feel alone. I mean, I guess that's somewhat plus size.
He said that they were like, when he was younger, he would often hear like to kill himself, like a lot.
Oh shoot.
So he says and like the problem is that he says the medication doesn't always work, and sometimes they discontinue medication that does work because it doesn't work for everybody else. So then the company that makes it loses money because like say only 1% of the population it actually works for.
Yeah.
So they discontinue a product because there's not making money off it, and then they end up creating a new one that they claim will help the same people, but it doesn't help them.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're always having to be trying different. And the problem too is like sometimes certain medication will work for a while and then it'll just stop working.
Yeah.
So then you have to go again through the cycle. And he's like, I've used about 8 to 12 different medications that all at one given point in time just stopped working. And we're like, so what do you use now? And he goes, I haven't taken anything in like 2 years. And we go, you haven't taken anything in like 2 years?
No silence for like 2 years.
Yeah, I was like,
well, no true silence for 2 years.
It's like, that's crazy. Like, why?
Like a question I would have asked.
So the follow-up was obviously why. And he says because the new one that they had me on 2 years ago would make me feel like drowsy, which was a side effect. And he works with addictions people. So like he's an addictions counselor, even though he was an addict. Yeah. So it's like true full circle, right?
Yeah. It's like, I know what you're going through.
Right. So he was like, I couldn't show up to the office. Like I was high all the time. Like it just looked bad. Yeah. And we're all like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, like a question I would ask is like how, like having a discussion with the voices in your head.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a moment in your life where you could shut them up?
Well,
like for like you win the argument.
Well, it's not. He's like, it's not a conversation.
No, I know.
He's like, just like casually, like you'd be like, like he's like, you're walking around and then suddenly you hear like someone say your name, but there's no one there. There's no one there. Like you just hear it out of nowhere, and you think you're going crazy for a bit.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like that every single day, like every moment at any given time, like. Anything I'm doing.
So like he's just like randomly walking and it's like, buy that donut.
Yeah. So like, well, he was saying that when people talk to him, he has to be looking at them. Otherwise he won't acknowledge you because he's never knows. Like it could be about anything. Like, so he's like, if you're not looking at me and we're talking and I turn away, just follow me. Just like follow my face so I can always see you talking. Otherwise I'll just tune you out.
Try to zone out.
Yeah. Try to tune you out because he's like, if I can't see where the voice is coming from, I don't trust it. I don't even try to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's
imagine tough. Somebody screams, watch out. Yeah. And then like, you're just like, I can't trust that. Yeah. And then like, there's something like a car coming at you.
Yeah.
Like that's scary.
Yeah, like there are things like that I
or like heads up.
Yeah,
just spend your whole life never looking up, which is a good thing.
I mean,
but like at the same time,
I guess
like you get hit because you didn't watch out.
Anyway, moving on. This got kind of dark.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know how. I don't know why you keep bringing up these topics, like medical like topics. Like that one girl who couldn't sleep.
That was
now this one
week.
guy
that was a great episode,
who still can't sleep because you can't. You see your voice.
Like I don't know.
What's next week?
I don't. Oh,
what's next week's? Tell me, please. I'd like to hear the other person.
I don't know. You're the one who's supposed to bring topics, and I'm just kind of pulling these out of the hat.
I don't know why you're pulling out such dark topics.
Well, it's not a dark topic. I just think it's interesting.
Okay, nice.
I don't even know how we got there.
I don't know what you did.
Someone play back.
I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm kidding.
I don't know what you said.
That's fine. The audience knows.
Okay.
Yeah. So today I went and did stuff.
Great.
I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I went downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had an Earl Grey tea. Yeah.
Great.
And a croissant.
Oh, well, he knows how to say it properly. Congrats.
Yeah. If you say croissant, just walk away.
Walk away. Don't ever acknowledge my presence. You're dead to me.
Anyways, after that, I went to walk around, went to the mall, went to the market, walked around, lounged around.
What'd you have for lunch?
For lunch, I had Japanese food.
Really?
Yeah. I had ramen.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. I had some tonkotsu ramen, and then my mom had pork because my mom was with me. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I got really quiet. I'm so sorry. Let's bring this back up to speed.
When I edit this, it's gonna be annoying.
Okay. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. Okay, because I'm the one editing.
Yes, I understand that. Anyways, yeah, so that's what I did. And then afterwards, I went to go talk to my psychologist.
Because you need help.
Because I need help. Everyone's just like, I knew it. I knew he was broken. I knew it from the moment I met him. He just had issues. Yeah, so I have issues.
Technically, everybody that, like, what was it? I met a psychologist who said, if you think you don't have issues, odds are you need to be talking to a psychologist. He's like, because any, like, healthy any healthy person would admit that they have problems. Like that means
does that mean I'm healthy? Does that mean I don't need psychology?
I mean, technically yes, but
I just acknowledged.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. But he's like, again, he said most people.
Oh,
not all people.
I guess
most people who can acknowledge they have a problem don't typically need help. But other people like and don't joke about it.
Then you're just in denial.
They actually need help because they're the ones. It's like how
like everybody who was just listening to us a few seconds before you said that was just like, nah, man, I'm healthy. Everyone's just like, dang it.
Y'all need help. Yeah. Like it's just the fact that a lot of us have a hard time like self-identifying our problems.
Yeah.
And it's challenging because it's something you have to admit your faults.
Yeah.
And no human likes to do that.
Yeah. So I went to my psychologist because of my LD, which is a learning disability for those who don't suffer.
For those of you who don't suffer.
Yeah. So
you can't be calling it an LD.
That's the term.
I know, but like a lot of people don't know
that's what psychologists.
I know, but most people don't call it that. They just say learning disability.
Okay, maybe in your life, not in mine.
In my life, people don't call it LD. In my life, well, I mean, like,
any psychologist I've ever talked to, they just call it an LD.
I've never,
because it's the short form.
I think only once or twice, but like it's not like the standard. I had this one.
Okay, listen, I wasn't done with my story. Okay?
It's not a story; it's an event.
I wasn't done with my life event. Okay, so I went to my psychologist because I'm broken, and so basically I was told, your brain works slow. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I knew that already. Thank you for letting me know of something I already knew. And then she's like, oh, also like I made sure that like in your paperwork I put like you have anxiety. And I'm just like, oh, okay. She's like, but it's around school. And I'm just like, I think everybody has it. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody has it. And then she gave me like a bunch of apps and stuff to like help with anxiety.
Yeah.
Probably never gonna use them, but it's just
trying to help you.
It's just nice to know they're there.
Okay, look, look, rewind for a sec. She's trying to help you, and you're like, I'm never gonna use that.
I'm probably never gonna use it.
Then why can't help?
Because I need help. Because I'm broke.
That's
how my life works.
No, that's not how. That's not healthy.
Me for who I am. Then I think you need help. Go
that's
talk
not
to a psychologist.
No.
Yeah. Or you're just not sleeping right. Get an orthopedic. I
haven't slept well in like months.
Yeah.
What was I saying? No,
I don't know.
You were saying
I was saying how it's broken, and then
no, you weren't gonna use the abs. You just liked it out there.
Yeah, I'm just letting that out there. I'm probably never gonna use them. I might download one of them, use it for like I don't know a day, and then realize this isn't effective. I know a better method, and then just delete the app. Like,
all right. Anyway,
yeah,
so that was it.
No,
what else?
I went in an Uber.
You make it sound as if like it's some big event.
It was a big event. They drove me.
Everyone takes. You know how many people take an Uber on the daily? There are people who go everywhere by Uber.
Okay, but that's not me. So it was an event. Okay, that was me.
Yeah, because usually you just get a ride everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is basically like an Uber, just that it's your dad or mom.
It's a chauffeur.
It's a chauffeur.
Chauffeur.
I'm just gonna put down.
I'm gonna call it chauffeur. Yeah.
You don't have one of those.
I'm gonna call it chauffeur. I mean, technically, that luxury everybody has it now. Because technically, you can call your Uber driver a chauffeur.
I mean,
it's just that the fact that you don't own the car
or the person.
I mean, you don't own the person. That's slavery. You can't say that. You're not supposed to say it out loud. How rude.
I mean, like in the sense of like your chauffeur works for you, like so, like they're a part of your business.
You owe people. No, you can't be saying that out loud.
I mean, that's kind of what.
No, it's not.
When companies talk about their employees, they talk about their people.
Yeah,
because
they don't own them, though.
No, I know.
You're my people. I don't seem to have some kind of overvalue over what you are. Okay,
look. Clearly, I misspoke.
You misspoke? You misspoke and a half, boy. Like, you broke. I think you need to talk to a psychologist.
I can't right now. Like,
yeah,
probably look, okay. Yeah. So, what was I saying?
Oh, how I went on an Uber.
Right. Okay.
To come home from the psychologist because I'm broke. Not that, like, somebody's going to, like, skip through this episode and then they're just going to land on I'm broke and they're going to think, like, I'm poor.
No, okay.
Unless they skip to this point right now. They're going to be like, oh, so he's just talking about how he's broke. No, that's not it. I got a chauffeur.
Look, I feel like... Yeah. Okay, so especially growing up.
You grew up?
Yes, everybody grew up. No, but what I'm trying to get at is growing up, you don't feel broken. You know what I mean? Like growing up when you were little, did you feel broken?
Probably if I broke a limb or something.
No, but I mean like according to your LD, you didn't feel broken.
No, I did. As soon as they told me that I had an LD, I'm like, so I'm broken. That was also because like the way my brain works, it tries to think. It doesn't think in the normal pathway that your brain would think about going over something. So let's say you asked me a question, I'd probably answer it in a different way than 75% of people would answer it.
Okay, so I'm gonna give my experience and then you can give yours because clearly they're two very different things. Yeah. So growing up, I didn't think, because I also have one. I'm dyslexic for those who don't know.
Yeah. My working memory is just non-existent.
Anyway, so I'm dyslexic, so I can't read or write for whatever reason. Can't read cursive. It's the lay of the land. Anyway, what was I saying? We have a whole episode about it somewhere in the archive.
We talked about our LDs before.
I think Jimbo's on the podcast too.
Yeah, we explained it to him, I think.
Yeah, I think we spent a whole episode.
I mean, mine's kind of renewed, so I know a little more about my situation right now.
Okay, anyway, getting back to the point. So, growing up, you think you're normal?
No.
I'm trying to talk about me.
Oh.
Not about you.
No, I didn't think I was normal.
Okay, so, like, I mean, like, you're like every other kid, right? You don't
I thought I was a kid. Okay, I was a normal kid.
Can I finish?
Just my brain was not normal.
Can I finish? Okay, so growing up, I thought I was normal. It was all good. It was all great. You know, hanging out with my friends and stuff. It was nice. I had one friend, though. Always got good grades. This guy was so we actually had him on the podcast, Stefan.
Yes, Stefan.
Yeah, he's gifted. Or I don't think he's just super smart.
He's on the high spectrum.
Yeah, he's almost gifted or something.
Okay, so he's borderline gifted.
He basically is. They wanted to jump him a grade.
Okay, that's called being gifted.
So
like, I don't know what else you can call that. Because if your child's skipping grades, nah, I'm sorry, he's gifted. He's smarter than I am.
Can I get to the point here?
Yeah.
So this best friend, mind you, at this point I was in grade 2. I still had no idea I even had a learning disability because I didn't figure that out till the following year when my grade 3 teacher failed me in English in grade 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I can't read, I can't write. Comprehension though went out the window because I can't read or write. So then they started doing all these tests, all this other stuff.
Up to the chair, got the probes. I mean, I'm sorry. My event was so much more different than yours. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They didn't do that.
Of course not.
Torture. I'm sorry. Yeah, continue.
anyway, so they do all these tests, right? And then that's when they told me. But even after that, like I didn't find that to be a big deal, like that I failed something.
Yeah.
Also, because like I
You're
was
a kid.
I was like 8.
I feel like students with LDs don't understand the true purpose of school until they're much older, like a few years older.
You don't, yeah, I feel like I slacked off in the early years, like the early, because like I'm a part of, well, we're both a part of the like, you can't be left behind, so they always move you up the grade, even if you've like you don't deserve to move up a grade, right? So I always got bumped up to stay with my group because they find that it's better to stay with your age group because it can affect you later on and all that stuff, right? But anyway, so getting back to the point, because of that, I technically shouldn't have passed grade 3, grade 4, or grade 5. Yeah, just by that alone, because I didn't have the like right level of learning. Yeah. But in grade 4, no, I shouldn't have passed grade 2. No, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. Sorry, I got backwards or something. Yeah, okay. Because in grade 4, I learned how to read. Uh-huh. I kind of tackled it. We talked about this off the podcast yesterday, but I figured out how to read, and that changed everything. Yeah. Because once I could read, and mind you, write my own name properly, yeah, it was nice. Like,
you're just like, that's my name right there,
right? But like most kids had gone this through like grade 2. Yeah, I was 2 years behind. And then I remember in grade 5, I had a teacher sit me down and tell me, look, school will always be hard for you, like regardless of like how hard you like, school will be a challenge for you. And I was like, great.
Every LD student's life.
No. She was just trying to like,
unless
let
you're
me know.
On the higher spectrum.
Right. And then when I got to grade 6, my teacher, he told me that I should strive to do auditory tests or quizzes or like talk to my professors and tell them, hey, look, can I like sit down and talk to you about it? He's like, because he's like, the problem is you have a hard time putting it on paper because like you've been avoiding writing and reading your entire life, and then suddenly you're basically thrown into having to
throw papers at your professors.
Exactly, right? So I kind of did that, but by grade I want to say grade 10, that wasn't an issue anymore. Like I could write an essay, no problem, like all that stuff. And when I got to college, it only got harder. Like, you know, they like 50 pages. Yeah. 20-page papers, and they were like, submit that, here we go.
I hope Grammarly worked out for me.
No, I didn't okay, so Grammarly didn't get popular till like after I wrote one of my very first papers for college, because I didn't even know what Grammarly was. I remember
all the advertisements didn't point it out. It's literally called Grammarly.
I know. Anyway, actually, I had this one professor.
Yes.
In communications. Yes. I would just throw semicolons in there just because he said...
I feel like you said this on the podcast.
I don't know if I have, but I want to tell a story again because it's great. I want to reiterate how great this moment was, where he told us, the communications prof told us that you don't need to use a semicolon to write good English. Mm-hmm. He's like, matter of fact, like there are in many instances where it exists in English, you could just put a comma there instead. Yeah. And I go, challenge accepted.
Oh my gosh.
So I just like every paper, everything I handed in had an absurd amount of semicolons, to the point where one thing he handed back to me, he put at the top of the page, I'm not even sure if half of these are right, but I'm just gonna assume they're right. And I was like, he doesn't even know anymore.
But he was you made him look at it so much he got confused and didn't know what it was anymore.
Yeah, like the other thing too was like he would say how he would always leave mine for last because he knew, like he just got used to
he had to mentally prepare himself.
Yeah, and
you know, I got some great apps to help with that. Love how everything's just full circle.
Full circle. No, but because one of the things that had started happening is like I would type it all out and then run Grammarly through it, and Grammarly wouldn't see it wrong with all the semicolons. Yeah. Like, so Grammarly would okay it. And then I'd run it through like the grammar check in Microsoft Word. Yeah. And no problems, right? So I think he got to a point where he was just like typing it out on like Google and then having Grammarly checked or something. Yeah. Because he must have just got super annoyed. But Grammarly wouldn't flare it off because I had already done that prior to it. So it just became this thing where he was like, I'm just gonna assume they're right. Like, I'm not even gonna question it. Also, like, you're really good at using the semicolon. Like, it was just, I'm not. Like, I'm just not doing this
I'm just
anymore.
gonna assume it's correct.
Yeah, it was great. But he was like, but you don't know how to use a comma? Explain. Because there were like some moments where like I'd put a comma in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, how is it you know how to use a semicolon properly?
But you don't know how to use a comma. Like, you learned backwards.
Yeah, like, what is this?
It's like more complex writing, semicolon. Lesser complex writing, comma. But you were backwards.
Yeah, it's
like I don't know how to use comma splices at all. Like,
I don't know what this is.
What is that?
I don't like
this?
Who decided the English language? Why is it so complicated? Drop a comma in that.
Drop a comma in chat.
I want to see a bunch of semicolons in chat.
DN me a semicolon.
No, but like stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what was it like for you?
For me?
Like, for me, that was the experience. Essentially. For me?
Man, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm so tired. Anyways, for me, I was told around, I don't know what grade I was specifically. Again, working memory didn't really work. I just remember being told your memory doesn't work properly and your comprehension is lower than most. So school is going to be really hard for you. And then I was like, okay, so I'm broken. My brain doesn't function like everybody else's. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But what I was going to say before that was how I feel like most LD students aren't in awareness or weren't in awareness of why they were in school. Like, I didn't realize my purpose for being at school was to learn, if that makes any sense. Because I was just kind of there and I'm just like, oh, I get to see my friends and I get to hang out. That's how I was viewing it. And it wasn't until like grade 5 that I truly realized the purpose of school. Like, I was aware that I had to like do work and stuff like that, but I didn't see it as learning. I saw it as work. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I had this exact same experience. Like, I would just hang out with my friend. Like, I never really did work.
No, like the teacher would be like, sit down and write this. Okay, I sit down and write it. But like, if I got it down on the paper, that means because like the teacher just explained it to me. Yeah. And like, okay, I learned, but like I wasn't aware of my learning. Yeah. So when I was lacking in something, I wasn't taking, like asking the questions of like how to actually do it. Unlike other students who were like asking questions.
I remember I had this one moment in like grade 7 science class. Yeah. Where like we were talking about, I can't remember what we were talking about, but like, so we're like in groups discussing, we had to write like on this chart paper. Yeah. And then I picked up the marker to add something to the chart paper because of what we were talking about, the topic at hand. And then I remember someone like started talking and we started talking. And then, mind you, I had like the marker like ready to write on the sheet the entire time we're talking. And then like our teacher goes, okay, everybody back to their tables. And like, and then she looks at me, she goes, did you want to add something? I'm like, I got no idea what it is. Like, I don't remember. And she goes, you sure? I'm like, yeah, just whatever. And then later on, we're in the middle of class and she's discussing about it. And I remember what it was. And I never bothered to like say what it was, right? Later on, she told me, she's like, I realized you remembered what it was. Like, what? She goes, yeah, I remember seeing like a light bulb go off in the middle of my class, like that you remembered what it was. And I go, yeah, and think it was relevant anymore. Yeah. And she goes, you should learn to voice whatever it is. She's like, you never know, like maybe someone hadn't thought of that, or it could have changed something. And there were a few instances where like I found that like some of my questions would inconvenience the rest of the class, so I just wouldn't ask them, like when I was younger.
Yeah, that's also something that isn't told to you when you're little. You're just told ask questions if you're confused. Yeah. But when your question is just gonna make everybody be like, or be like, why, or like giggle at you. Yeah. That's enough to discourage you from even bothering ask a question ever again. Oh yeah. Especially if it actually happens to you.
Or like the teacher gives you like a pissed off look, like I just said this like 5 seconds ago.
No, I love how patient psychologists are with me. I'm like, can you repeat the question? Yeah, sure. Can you repeat the question? Yeah, sure. I know you just said it, but can you repeat the question?
I know, but that's because that's a job.
I know, like, and they're just like, no worries, you can repeat it as many times as you want.
In my case,
and then they do the questions where they're like, I can't repeat it to you, and I'm like, well, then you just screwed me over because I wasn't paying attention the first time.
No. I had a math teacher in grade 10. Yeah. Whenever you'd ask a question, look like you were like she was just mean about it.
Yeah,
like she
had like that face of like you're stupid, but like indirectly
she was just super condescending about it.
Okay,
like I just explained this. How do you not understand? And the one time I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just ask her a question because I don't understand it. Like I need, and she was a math teacher, mind you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to ask her this question. So I asked the question, and she looks at me like I'm a complete idiot.
Yeah.
And she explains it to me, and then the guy sitting in front of me turns around and goes, "I'm so happy you asked that question." So I had no idea what the heck is going on either in this class.
Yeah, and see, like, not until I reached like grade 8 was my teacher like, ask your questions because there might be someone else with the same question.
Yeah.
And then that brought me a little more confidence when I asking questions. But that by that point, it was like, it's too late now.
I know, right?
Like, I'm going to high school. This is it. This is the standing point. You waited till the last minute to kill me.
Yeah. Well, I never got told that until like, I mean, it wasn't until I got to college where I got
oh my gosh,
comfortable asking questions.
Oh, you got comfortable asking questions.
Yeah. Like, okay, but I mean, okay, so mind you, this math teacher,
yes,
I left her class like in the mid, like 3 weeks into it.
Yeah,
I switched into a different math class because scheduling with another class that I wanted to take. So I got put into this like applied math class because I was like an academic class.
Yeah,
I got put into this applied math class, and the math teacher just like he would explain things, but I felt like
there was no oomph behind his explanation.
No, I felt that the way like a lot of people said that they loved him as a teacher.
Yeah.
After they finished high school.
Yeah,
because they're like, there's a lot of stuff that he like explains in depth.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it's boring.
Tedious.
It's boring to like the point of like brain numbing.
Yeah.
But they're like, I'm so grateful because now when I'm like, because like I'm studying engineering, I understand everything super, super well.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile,
he furthered comprehension instead of just giving you the information.
Exactly. So, but you at the moment you don't understand this, right? You're like, this is the
most tedious, boring class.
Like we spent a whole 3 weeks talking about parabola and the curve. We get it. It's a line that curves. Move on. Let it go, mom, dude. Like it got really annoying and tedious.
Yeah.
But I remember I was in a biology class, and one day I was talking with the teacher about something. And my old math teacher walks in, and she goes, she's like talking to her about something, and then she walks over because she sees me like talking with a teacher, and so she walks over and she goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good." And she goes, she's like, "I heard you switched out of my class." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It was like a call." It was like I didn't tell her, but it was like I had a conflict with my schedule, so I had to switch out. And she goes, "Oh, that's unfortunate." She's like, "You're a really nice guy." She's like, "You're really calm. You didn't talk in my class." And you did your work.
Just because so you being silent in my class made you a nice guy?
I think she assumed that because I didn't say anything, I understood everything.
Yeah, that's literally okay. So I had a grade 10 teacher who literally told us that. She's like, if you're not asking a question to me, she's like, I'm just gonna assume you're perfect with it. She's like, I'm just gonna imagine you being like, if you can explain this to me like phrase per phrase. After she said that, students started asking her a bunch of questions.
And everybody's like, okay, whoa, slow down, rewind.
Yeah.
So I had and then my biology professor goes, he's not quiet in here. He has so many questions. And I go, this is biology. Like, this is kind of different. And then I remember my professor, well, not my teacher at the time, my biology teacher, she's like, look, she's like, it's not bad to ask questions.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as a bad question, but there are questions that sometimes she's like, you ask them with almost like the intent that you want me to trip up. And I go, okay, well, that's not the intent. I'm just curious about like, because I'm like, sometimes you'll talk about something like, say we're talking about mitochondria for whatever reason. If you don't know what that is, what is that, bro? You're in the medical field.
I honestly forgot. Give me a second.
Are you gonna pull up the definition?
Pretty sure it's powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, it's the powerhouse of the cell. So we're talking about mitochondria, and I wanted to know why. Like I asked her.
I need to verify that as a
pretty sure it's the powerhouse of the cell.
Pre-health student. I'm gonna go to my notes real quick.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
This is really
live and on air.
Okay, look, I haven't reviewed like Unit 1 since like Unit 1.
Okay, so what's the mitochondria?
Give me a second. I gotta search it right in my notes. Yeah, the powerhouse of the cell.
Okay, so
I even had it.
Okay,
it produces ATP.
Yeah. Okay.
Boom.
So
brain.
So I wanted to know how it produced ATP.
Yeah.
That was my question. I remember this question because she looked at me like...
Wait, was this in grade 12?
This was in grade 11.
That makes no sense.
Because she said how, like, and and you'll learn about how it makes ATP later on.
You'll learn about.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you brushed it off.
Okay.
But then I put my hand up and go, okay, well, explain that. Like, I want to know.
That's a process and a half.
I want to know that, right? Yeah. And that's when she's like, sometimes I feel like you're asking questions, like you're trying to trip me up.
Like you're going to go into like the whole glycolysis and like protein synthesis thing.
Okay, right. But again, mind you, like I didn't know that at the time. Like I was just learning this for the first time and I was just curious.
That's a question. Yeah, that I would personally feel attacked if you asked me that question. I would. That's how I would feel.
Okay, so again, mind you, like I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I didn't know, right? Like,
I feel like you're hurting me.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And sure, it may have come off like I didn't really care either, but it was more or less one of those moments where I was like, okay, so maybe we need to tone it back with the questions.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, the other day I had a professor explain BEDMAS to us in math class in college.
Brackets, exponents, and that stuff.
Division, multiplication.
Yes,
addition,
I know
subtraction.
how to spell BEDMAS.
I'm just making sure. Anyway, so what was I saying? Okay, so somebody asked to explain. So then he explained it.
Okay.
He spent like a good almost half hour explaining BEDMAS.
Okay.
And I just sat there the entire time thinking, most of us learned this in grade 6 or grade 5.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get this far and not know?
I mean, are you constantly doing binomials?
Yeah, all the time.
No, I mean like in general life.
Oh, no.
But, see what I mean?
No, but
you don't legitimately
bro,
ever
all of
really
these people in there, just like most of them just got out of high school.
Okay. Oh, wait, what?
See what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't make sense.
I would be like, as soon as the student would say, what is that? I'd be like, bull.
No, because, okay, so we were talking about exponents, okay?
Yeah.
And the guy goes, sir, he's like, okay, we got to do the brackets first. And the student goes, no, you're supposed to do exponents first. And then the teacher goes, no, you follow BEDMAS. And then he wrote it like on the board or whatever. And then the student goes, no, you always do the exponents first. And he goes, okay, whoa, I'm going to have to explain this.
Wait, but if you did do exponents first, okay?
Yeah.
Just theoretically. Yeah. Technically, if you did do exponents first before you did brackets.
Yeah.
Because the purpose of doing the brackets first
is it depends on the equation at hand.
Yes. But depending on the equation, you could get the right answer.
Yes and no. Because sometimes the exponent is within the bracket.
Yeah.
Okay. Or sometimes it's outside the bracket.
Okay.
So say you have an exponent in the bracket and outside the bracket. Which one you do first dictates the answer to the question.
Okay, yeah. That's if you're having... Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. But if you're having multiple exponents. But if you just had single exponents with like connected to your base number...
Yeah.
Then you could probably...
Right.
You could probably do it.
But we were talking about like negative exponents at that point.
Okay.
So you're just
so this guy was screwed.
Yeah, he was just throwing everything out the window.
Yeah.
Like all the math rules just went out the window essentially.
Yeah.
So our teacher was like, okay, well, I got to explain it. So then he went and he explained it.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there like, nothing against the guy. Like, he seemed like really chill. Actually, yesterday, our prof asked me to answer a question.
Yeah.
I literally unmuted my mic and some other guy answered for me. And then I'm like, so apparently his name is Adrian. I'm like, I guess I just don't exist.
All right. That's fine.
Like, I was like, okay, fine. I muted my mic again. I was like, I guess I won't answer.
Yeah.
Like,
my bio prof, like the beginning, tried to trip me up by just randomly asking me a question. I answered it and she was like, oh.
Okay, look, I've had moments where like I'll get up because like where I work, like the washroom's really close.
Yeah.
So like sometimes in the middle of a class, I'll go to the washroom and I'll come back.
Yeah.
So like this one time in math class, I went to the washroom and I came back.
Yeah.
And all I heard as soon as I put the headphones back on was Adrian. And I go, Adrian, what?
Yeah.
And then I go,
I would just be like, pardon, can you repeat the question?
No. So I didn't know if he was like asking a question or if he was just asking for an opinion. Yeah. Like I didn't know what was going on.
I mean, either way, you could just be like, pardon, can you repeat that?
Yeah. Okay.
That's all you have to say.
Okay. So I jump into anyway, someone else jumps in and answers the question. Right. Yeah. And I go, oh, okay. I'm like, and I jump into chat. I'm like, did he just ask me a question?
Yeah.
And then this guy goes, yeah. And then I'm like, I left my keyboard for like 3 seconds. Like I wasn't even gone a full minute. Yeah. And this guy asks me a question the one moment I'm gone. And this guy in the chat replies, it's because he can see you. He knows when you're not paying attention. I'm like, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And he goes, he sees all. I'm like, that's great. That's real great. And then like a week later, it happened to the guy I was having that chat with. Yeah. He's like, yo, man, I was gone for 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds I was gone. He called me.
Yeah, I know. Like as soon as you think you're in the clear,
Yeah.
That's when they strike. It's like they have a sixth sense. It hurts. They're just like, I know you're not there, so I'm gonna ask you a question. And like, I hate when you're like starting to like, you know, when you're like, you've been so far into the lecture, your brain just dozes off.
Yeah.
And like only for like a few seconds until you wake yourself back up.
Yeah.
And then the reason you wake back up is because you just heard your name.
Yeah.
That is the worst.
Oh my gosh. I hated that.
Especially when you're doing class in person. You're just
I hate that. And now we gotta go back to class. Like it's on. Like I find that so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it's so uncomfortable.
I hate on the spot questions. Like especially me with my version of learning.
Yeah.
Like it is the worst because
I don't
literally just learned the topic and my brain needs time to process that information before I can actually recall it and say the answer.
Yeah.
So
okay, you know what I don't like? This is what I like.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to math and use math as an example. Say like they teach you something, how to do something in math, right?
Yeah.
And then they test you on it, right?
Yes.
Like everything else. But one of the last questions on the test is the most complex question that they could possibly ask you on said unit.
Yeah.
But you were never specifically taught how to do a question of this caliber. They just assume you learned how to do it.
Well, it's because it's conceptual thinking.
Exactly. But there was no tutorial. There was no nothing, right? They're just supposed to figure it out.
Yeah, because that's what the point is. It's to find out if you can tie everything you've learned, but to answer the one question.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
So I had this one question like this my first year of college.
Yeah.
And I literally wrote...
You were like, I don't know.
I literally wrote, was not taught this in big bold writing. I even shaded it in. Like I shaded it in, I colored it in. I was like, oh, this is going to look all pretty. And then I remember when I left, I think I've told this before, but when I left that exam, I asked somebody else and he's like, I just put NA.
Not available.
I was like, so I talked to like 6 to 7 different other people and everybody said the same thing. They're just like, I can't answer this or like, I don't know. Like, and then I'm like, I put it like big bold writing, was not taught this.
Yeah.
And they go, you think you'll get in trouble for it? I'm like if we'll get, I'm like, they'll probably just wipe it off. Like if everybody did the same thing we did, they won't grade it.
Yeah.
They'll just take it out.
Because at that point, that's just failure of the professor.
Exactly. It looks bad. So I'm like, if all of us were to band together, but there's always that one guy got 100%. We're like, how did you
I mean, like depending, because you know, like when teachers tell you like to look at the textbook questions, and they tell you specific textbook questions,
right?
I sometimes on purpose look at the textbook questions I was told not to look at.
I don't do that.
I do that just to confuse myself. I'm like, wait a minute, this is possible? I'm like, why aren't we being taught this stuff? But it's because it's totally relevant to everything else that we can be learning.
Yeah, like I have a prof. He keeps sitting on the math homework.
Yeah,
it's like, don't forget to do math homework. And I'm gonna be honest, I've only done like 1 or 2 of the math homeworks because only like some of them are graded, not all of them are graded.
Yeah.
So like I'm only doing the ones that are graded. All the other ones I'm like, I don't really need this in my life.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because one of the things that I've come to realize is like because I haven't been practicing math, specifically math, I've gotten so bad at it.
Yeah,
like I'm so bad at math,
especially like math without a calculator. Because for me, I have to do math without a calculator, and I'm like, I don't remember how to do long division. I'm like, I don't remember how to do like multiplication.
Oh, man.
I'm like, what is going on? But subtraction and addition is just like, it's just common sense, right?
Yeah. No, okay, but in my case, it's more like because it's been like 4 years since I've had a math class. No, 5 years since I've had a math class. So like I've been out of math that long. It's been 5 years since I've had a proper math class.
Yeah, I know.
Like, so,
but you know what's funny?
What?
I love those teachers who like long ago were just like, you might not have like a calculator with you and you need to do that. We're literally walking around with like cell phones now.
Yeah.
And we're just like, what do you think my cell phone can do? Guess what? It's got a calculator.
And if I tilt it, it's scientific.
Exactly. Like, can you do that with your brain? I don't think so.
Anyway, I think we should wrap up.
You think you should wrap up? Well, guys, that felt like we cut it short. Not gonna lie, I feel like my brother is stealing from you guys. No, I'm just joking. Anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Everything's always in the description, whether it be up, down, left, or right. Make sure to share with your grandma, share with your rooster, share with your donkey, share with your moose. I don't really know. Just share with everybody and anything. And we'll make sure to like leave us a message on Anchor.
Rate us on iTunes.
Yeah, just do all that. If you want to send us some money, you know, we're gonna open up a PO. No, I'm just joking. We're not gonna open anything up. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bye.